I'm going to show you how to sew up a vertical seam today in Mattress Stitch. So that might be a side seam or a sleeve seam. So the sleeve seam's got the shaping, but it still works the same way. So I'm using a blunt needle with a bent tip. I find that is the easiest to pick up the strands that we need to. I'm also using a contrast piece of yarn for today. You would normally sew up with the yarn that you knitted with, unless it's a fragile yarn, because that might break when you're sewing up. I'm also using an unattached piece of yarn that really helps with the process of doing mattress stitch. You'll notice that I am not using any of these tails and that they're not sewn in yet. Sewing in the tails is the absolute last thing you do because they get in the way. Where we're going to be working is, this is the edge column of stitches and this is the next column in. And we're going to be working in this valley between those two columns. So if we just pull the fabric apart a bit, and you can see that there are these rungs of the ladder. So I'm going to start with the last of the ice blue and the first of the marine rungs and bring that through. I'm starting at the point that needs to line up as well. So that's the top of the ribbing and the colour change. Stripes, same. I always start in the interior and work towards the edges because the edges are hard to read where the stitches actually lie. It's just so much easier and so much more satisfying to start at this point so that it lines up. So, sorry, I took the ice blue and marine rungs. I'm going to come over to this side and take two of the marine. So they're not the same because mattress stitch it's a stepwise stitch. So you're taking two rungs and then the other side is offset. So 2 and 2 like that. That is what makes it line up. So I'm going to go back over to the first side, insert my needle where the yarn comes out and pick up another 2 rungs. Back over to this side, insert the needle where the yarn comes out and under 2. So we're just going to keep doing that for a little bit. Okay, so you'll notice that I've left it quite loose. We're going to tighten it by just pulling both ends. And you tighten it until it slides through. Beautiful. And you can see that they're lining up nicely. Just give it a wiggle, pull apart the seam so you can see where your sewing yarn is. Back in where the yarn comes out, under 2 bars. Back in where the yarn comes out and under 2 bars. So a stocking stitch curls a bit, so I'm using my fingers underneath to uncurl that edge. Otherwise, the edge stitch can get in the way and get caught. And I'm also making sure that I don't pierce any yarn. You need the yarn to be able to slide through, and if you've pierced the yarn, it's not going to pull through. So I'm now going to thread the other end onto my needle and just sew up this bottom bit. I'm going to just turn it around so that it's the right way for me. Give it a wiggle, pull it apart a bit so you can see where that strand is of our sewing thread. Under 2 strands and through. So I'm just going to quickly do this because I want to show you the hem edge as well. Like I said before, it's hard to read the stitches when you're right on the edge. The cast on distorts the stitches. So here I'm at the cast on edge, and it's not really clear rungs any longer. So I'm just doing the best I can, really. And over here, yeah, there's 2 bars. That's the last 2. So I'm just going to go right through there. And that's beautiful. I'll probably use this end to just close that perfectly, but that looks lovely. But if it's not looking lovely and it's not going well, another beauty of having a spare end is that you can pull it and pull it through until the yarn goes all the way through, and it comes apart so easily. So you can start again if you need to.